All right. There's been a standoff in Nairobi, in the city county, and in an attempt to kind of clean up the city and give it a more orderly outlook, the county government said, you know what, certain places where people have been hawking, we're not going to allow that anymore, and we need to move it out and get people to be orderly, and let's clean up garbage. I was going to go somewhere with that, but okay, let's just leave it there. But essentially get the city more organized. And that's the conversation that we'll be having this morning, more around the hawkers standoff issue. Jane Wangui is the CEC, or rather CCO, or the County Chief Officer, Market and Trade, Nairobi City County. She joins us this morning. Good morning, Jane.
Good morning, and thank you for having me today.
Karibu sana.
Asante.
You're in the hot seat of the Situation Room.
Yes.
And we're going to get into a couple of conversations this morning, just around what I had, given interest to. John Njuguna, who is the chairman of the Nairobi Hawkers Association, is due to join us in some time. So we're going to be able to get insights from him as well as soon as he joins us. But we will continue the conversation anyway. But as we do, we normally welcome our guests with a proverb. CT shares that proverb and he'll tell you where it's from. And then you can interpret that for us and tell us how that would apply to you. Is that all right, Jane?
All right.
Okay.
Hi, Jane.
Hi.
How's life?
I'm good.
Today is the final day of our proverbs from the Republic of Mali. Lovely country, rich history, 2 major rivers passing through it. Senegal River, Niger River. Is it Niger? Yeah, Niger, not Niger.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Niger was the country.
Yes.
The river is Niger. Okay, very good. Now, the proverb. Simple, straightforward, tailor-made for Friday. If you have an enemy, admit he can run fast.
Yes. Literally. Yeah, they can run fast because an enemy cannot sleep. They are always planning for you. So they run fast, but you need to run faster. Yeah. So in terms of work, you know that there are things that are not working. So the people who say county is not working are running fast. But we are running faster in terms of service delivery.
Yeah, really.
You've applied it perfectly.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yes, perfectly.
Okay. Interesting. Jane, you sit in the position as County Chief Officer for Market and Trade. So, of course, this falls right under you.
Yes.
In terms of what is happening with hawkers. Paint the picture for us. What's the problem from your perspective? How did this all start?
Okay, before I paint that picture, maybe I could just give you an overview of what we do at Markets and Trade.
Yes, please.
Yes, at Markets and Trade, we have 4 directorates. The first one being Trade and Industry. And Trade and Industry is whereby we are looking at the industries that can spur economic growth in Nairobi. And yesterday, we even visited our site in Mathare, where we are constructing a county integrated county aggregation integrated park, whereby we are going to deal with wood and metal for our artisans. You always see these artisans along Gong Road, along on the Jogo Road, they deal with wood and metal. And it's going to be a home of innovations whereby we are able even to compete globally because of the specialized machines that we are going to put and also the specialized skills that we are going to empower our artisans. So that is the CAIP. Come to markets, the second directorate. We are in charge of over 65 markets across Nairobi. In the past, we only had markets that were in 4 sub-counties. But right now, we are spreading them across Nairobi. We started with Mutwini, that is the side of Dagoretti. You come to Jujo, it's in Mihango, the other side of Mombasa Road. You go to Thika Road, where we are having Kahawa West. We are also having Karen at the center. There was a lot of disorder. We are doing our market there. We have a market we are doing with the national government, that is Maji Mazuri. We have South B. So we are spreading ourselves and building these modern markets to be able to take care of our traders, give them a dignified working spaces, and just take the traffic to the markets. So when we come to the hawkers, that's where they are at, which I'll just come back in a minute.
Yes.
And then we also have a directorate that deals with business permits. That is trade licensing. It's still under markets and trade. And the last one is weights and measures. I know you don't know much about weights and measures, but when you go fuel your car, we want to know when you say you want 1,000 fuel for 1,000, you want to be certain that actually you're really getting
fuel for
1,000.
Okay.
If you go to buy meat, the nyama choma, you want 1 kg. We are looking at the scales to really make sure that our customers really get value for money. If it's 1 kg, it's 1 kg. If you go to the supermarket, how are the packages? If the packaging is 500 grams, it should be 500 grams.
Indeed.
Yeah, so let me go back to hawkers, which is a hot topic right now. We are happy with the progress that we have made. One, I think it is very important for us to know that there is no law that allows hawking or street vending in the CBD. But through the governor, His Excellency Sakaja, allowed the hawkers to trade in the CBD, but in an orderly way. Initially, we saw that these hawkers would even come to Koinange Street. One time I was even going downtown Moi Avenue, going to Tomboya Street, and I would find someone boiling maize in the CBD, and it was chaotic. Right now, we have told them that, you know what, we acknowledge you. We want to give you your trading spaces, but at least move to the back lanes. And amazing. We are having a very good working relationship with the workers through the workers' leadership, and now we have moved to the back lanes. Now it's to see how are we settling them in at the roads rehabilitated, which we have started doing, and it's progress. I can report progress with the county. Yeah.
Okay. So there was a call to take a lot of hawkers out of Nairobi streets. I mean, let's paint the picture. If we look at a number of streets, let's look at Moi Avenue. And if we're looking at from railways going all the way to the top of Jivanji, all right, at some point you would have seen that there are quite a number of people who were selling on, whether it was makeshift carts or makeshift shelters, and they were selling, and there was a lot of obstruction for people to move. At the same time, there was a lot of garbage collection within the streets, not collection of taking it away, but as in collection of garbage from a lot of these activities, and that was basically spoiling the face of the city. These sentiments came from government, from the city county government, as well as people who would try to traverse the city. Whether we want to look at adjacent streets like Tomboya and then go down to Ronald Ngala, we saw the same thing happening, whereby there's so much road, but then the hawkers are taking up most part of that. County government comes in and says, well, we don't want this anymore, and says we're going to move them and relocate them.
Yes.
If we want to look at Wakulima, there again, the road, most of the road was taken up by hawkers who would come and sell just outside of the market.
Yeah.
So from what we understand, and let's fall again directly under you, that then the directive then came that you said we're going to move all of these people out of these streets and relocate them somewhere else. Am I right so far?
Yes.
Okay.
The spillovers. First, when we look at Wakulima, and it unfortunately turned political. Wakulima is a wholesale market. And so initially it was to accommodate 1,200, 1,500 traders, but right now we have over 5,000 traders, 8,000 traders in a day. And so the spillover that now hawkers or traders would sell outside at the perimeter wall. And that's what we were trying to say. Go back to the market. Go back to the market. One, this market was established to handle the wholesale. But now that you are taking the wholesale and bringing the retail outside there, we cannot allow you. Go back, take up the slots that are in there. And if we cannot accommodate you, we have other markets that are equally good, very modern right now with all the amenities that a trader needs. Go, let us give you some slots and some stalls to trade in. So when it comes to hawking, again, it was the same. Hawkers were allowed at a certain time from 4 p.m. But instead of them sticking now to the lower lanes, they came up, and that's why I said they even came to until Koinange Street, and it was even very difficult for us pedestrians to walk. Now we have taken them back to the back lanes, and we are encouraging Nairobians that go visit these people, go you are their customers. Go find them at the back lanes. So right now, this is what we are doing. Initially, before the notice came, we had over 5,000, 7,000 hawkers in CBD. But with the notice that came, all these other hawkers that were coming from adjacent counties have gone back. Through our statistics now, we are dealing with about 2,500 who hawk and live in Nairobi, and those are the ones that we are trying to settle in the back lanes.
We're having this discussion as though we're dealing with a disease, and yet we are dealing with human beings, unless we say they're hawking because it's a sport that they're involved in. These are people who are trying to make a living. The initiatives that the county government has made are laudable. They are in the public domain. The government that is now led by Johnson Sakaja has a problem. That problem is called history. Other attempts at doing the same thing have not been successful. Yes. That is putting it very politely. So when he now has his scheme of trying to integrate hawkers even into the main streets, some of the biggest streets, and trying to place order, it was likely to meet with resistance. My question, these processes that we are speaking of, walk us through the public participation that you went through with the hawkers and their leadership, so that when you talk about a scheme and a plan that you have, we can understand how you arrived at what we can now consider to be workable. What was the public participation plan and how was it implemented?
Okay, thank you very much. That's a very good question. One of the things that we have to be clear on is that through His Excellency the Governor, we have 4 pillars: a city of order, dignity, hope, and opportunities. So when the Governor came in, he sat with the hawkers and also the hawkers leadership through a public participation forum where they agreed that now it's okay, hawking is hacking a living. We are going to allow you, but we are going to allow you in an orderly manner. They were supposed to go with our officers and identify backlanes in the CBD, and we identified 33 backlanes in the CBD where we are going to settle these hawkers. That is incognizant that hawkers are in different categories. We have hawkers that are PWDs. We have able-bodied hawkers. So how do you now integrate all of them in the 3 backlanes? And so we have identified about 10 backlanes that are for PWDs. And PWDs are the ones that go with the wheelchairs. They are those ones who cannot, they are deaf. Yeah, different types of PWDs, we prioritize them. And then the other backlanes out of the 33 is where now we are giving our able-bodied. So this is something that was agreed upon. But now, with a lot of freedom comes a bit of chaos. And that's why we want to restore back the order that...
What Governor Sakaja mentioned even as he was campaigning, he wanted to make Nairobi work again.
Yes.
Laudable. He met with the hawker leadership, laudable. First of all, how many leadership groups are there? Now, that aside, when we talk of public participation, it can't be a one-off. You have a meeting, then you have follow-up meetings, then you release the meetings now to your officers to go. Meaning, are we saying that you've had very many meetings with the hawkers over these matters?
Very many meetings. Exactly. Even yesterday, last week, it is a continuous process.
Okay, now if it's a continuous process, why then are we still having problems? Who is causing the problems? Because usually, in such situations like the one we saw yesterday, the jams in the city yesterday, there are people who clearly are not happy with whatever progress is being made. What is the problem?
In the back lanes, when we went to the back lanes, we found that some matatus also are stationed in the back lanes. So you find one circle has 10 matatus. And instead of them having 3 and putting the other matatus, parking them somewhere else, maybe at the Globe or at the Green Park, they are all parked there. Okay. You find that we also have some private vehicles that are now being used as PSVs, which is not even supposed to be that way. You find that a Wish is parked there carrying people to Kisumu or carrying people to Kisii and can stay there for even up to a week looking for these clients. So this is a multi-sectoral approach. It's not just for market and trade. We have to work with the mobility. We have to work with transport. We have to work with road or works in terms of rehabilitating these roads. So one of the biggest challenge that we are having is those private vehicles that are being parked there. And yesterday we went with the leadership of the security and enforcement from our end. We also went with mobility, and this is what we are trying to tell them, that now the back lanes belong, or we have given the back lanes to the hawkers. Can these private vehicles come out, because it's not even legal to park them? Yeah, but for matatus we are saying, let us have order. Yes, you were given some bits of these back lanes, but can we coexist between you matatus who are also earning a living and our hawkers? You look at something, a lane like Mfangano's lane is long. How can we now have you matatu one side and our hawkers one side? So it's a multi-sectoral approach.
And where do the pedestrians walk?
They are pedestrian walks. Yeah, that's why we are working with our works department to just make sure that there are pathways for the pedestrians to walk. Yesterday, I was very happy with the progress. I went myself there with Waziri Nyalita, and it was amazing how the progress is. Yeah,
I'm curious to understand. You have mentioned the hawkers, the matatu owners. There's another group of Kenyans, and I'm yet to hear. What is it with the street families? All right. When you went there, did you still see street families there? What is the situation with the street families that use those particular designated areas as their homes?
Yeah, that was a problem initially.
Okay.
Where we went to some lanes that were so dark, and street families had taken those spaces as their homes. You could even find that even liquor was being sold there, with these street families. But as we get in, bring the hawkers, we are finding that at least now we are dealing with that street families.
How are you dealing with that?
Once they see us, we have social services who deal. We have different departments that deal with different issues. So we move in with our social services, and I can tell you, yesterday I went through, I think I only saw one street boy, and they were just busy going through the lane.
Okay.
I didn't find their shelters in there.
How is the status quo? Because the argument the hawkers had, as much as you're saying it's workable, they're saying that place is filthy. Those places you've designated them to go to are filthy. And you went around walking. What has the county done to deal with this filthy idea that they are bringing the arguments?
Yes, that was the situation, but not in all the lanes. So what the county has done, we have been rehabilitating the back lanes. If you look at Mfangano lane, if you look at Moi lane, we have rehabilitated it, and we continue to rehabilitate, put enough drainage, we want to see the lighting. Drainages are there, hand wash, water points in those streets, at least to give them very decent, working spaces.
It is clear that the county has every intention of making this situation better. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
I'm going back to the hawker. You see, the hawker looks for where they're likely to get clients. And the most likely is where their offices. And that represents the center of town, the streets that we are speaking of. Now, they are in this business because of a need. They even refer to as informal. Beyond the CBD, I want to take a little walk with you and go to Kangemi. There's a market there.
Yes.
There's only now one lane. One lane has been occupied by hawkers, completely. Again, there is need for them to do their business, but they've now occupied a segment of the road. Okay, now, I'm torn between looking at a direct disobedience of laws that are set in place and balancing it with the needs that the hawkers have, and then the role of the county and the department that you lead in balancing this. How do we balance this?
How we balance this is first, as Nairobians, it's an attitude change. It's historical.
It is.
And as you've rightfully said, these needs arise for the hawkers arise where there is population. And that's why you find them even in the terminus, because that is where their clients are, as you're boarding in your matatu, as you're coming out. We have a plan, and that's why we are doing these modern markets, because you cannot be a hawker throughout your life. You need to grow. We want to grow these hawkers, and telling them that, yes, you are a small-scale trader. We are building for you markets, modern markets. Can you now grow? Because you find that there's a hawker that you started seeing 10 years ago and they are still there. Yet as a county, we are building modern markets. So it's an attitude change where we're saying, you let us grow you, go to our modern markets that are spread across, and they are business terminus, and now capacity build or sensitize Nairobians where to find these markets, because they can never be enough. We can't even offer, even the backlinks are not enough for the 2,500.
So what do we do with hawkers who have actually taken over roads?
That is illegal. They either keep the order or ship out.
Okay.
Because this is something we are telling them, that we acknowledge that you're small scale. We want to help you. We are supporting you as a county. But again, we have to do our business in an orderly manner. So let us go to where we have given you the backlinks, but take advantage of our new modern markets that we are building. Yeah, and at least that will give you permanency.
Okay. Joining us at this hour now is, rather at this time, is John Njuguna Wamawaya, who is the chairman of the Nairobi Hawkers Association, and he's joined us in the situation room this morning. John, welcome. Karibu sana. Umechelewa sana.
Lakini unakaribishwa.
Karibu sana. So tulikuwa tunataka kusikia kutoka kwako hii maneno ya hawkers na vile imeendelea katika kaunti ya Nairobi. Maoni yenu ni gani sai?
Sana kwa sai, kama jana hivyo nimesikia our chief akisema, Chief Wangui, jana ndio tuliona mabadiliko. Jana ndio tuliona backseat kama 3 zimedolewa, hizi private car, watu wetu wakaanza kuingia. Kwa hivyo jana tuliweza kupanga watu kama 300 kwa backseat jana, lakini kutoka tufukuzwe tumesafa sana 2 months mpaka saa hii.
Mlisafa aje?
Natuweke break. Mlifukuzwa lini? Na mlifukuzwa mkaenda wapi? Mlipewa notice gani kabla hamjafukuzwa? Tuhadithie.
Tulifukuzwa tarehe 9 Januari. Na notice hatukupewa.
Hamkupewa notice?
Hatukupewa, hiyo tuseme ukweli. Ili kuongea ukweli, hatukupewa notice. Tulifukuzwa hivyo tu. Tulipewa kesho amuko kwa barabara, kuja backstreet.
Nani? Na
the governor did order.
Okay.
Yeah.
Lakini kulikuwa na mazungumzo, na watu wengine wanaita rumors, kulikuwa na ka sauti kwa umbali ya kwamba mnaweza kuwa mnafukuzwa hapo, kwa sababu hii ni maneno inaweza sikika kabla mjafukuzwa, ama haikuwa kabisa?
Tulikuwa tunasikia rumors tutafukuzwa, but hatukuwa tumepewa ile. Unajua kitambo tulikuwa tunaenda meeting na machief, ule chief alikuwa hapa kwa marketing kabla Chief Wangui akuje. Kwa hivyo tulikuwa tunaenda mkutano na yeye anatubrief venye serikali inataka kufanya, na sisi tunabrief watu wetu. Lakini hiyo wakati hatukuitwa mkutano. Kwa hivyo tulisafiriwa tu barua kwa grupu zetu. Hata sisi hatukuitwa tupewe hiyo barua. Tulisafiriwa kwa grupu yetu. Tukatumiwa, sasa tutumie watu wetu notice.
Okay.
Mmetumiwa katika mtandao?
Kwa mtandao.
Kwa runinga?
Yeah.
What's the difference really?
I think runinga is
So
go ahead.
Biashara ilikuwa inaendelea katikati ya barabara za Nairobi.
Yes.
Na amkuwa mmepata mahali ingine kufanya hiyo biashara?
Hatukuwa tumepata juu ile makubaliano tulikuwa tumekubaliana na Governor Sakaja ni kwamba atakuwa ametengeneza backstreet. Hivyo sasa zinatengenezwa kuweka lami, kuweka sheet na mataa. Ndio sababu akatupea masaa saa 10 tuuze kwa barabara main road. Tupange watu wetu huko mpaka amalize kutengeneza hizo backstreet.
Okay.
Akishamaliza kutengeneza, tuchukue watu wetu tuwarotate kwa backstreet. Lakini sasa ile makosa ilifanyika, walitufukuza kama hajamaliza.
Okay.
Sasa hii ndio wanatengeneza sasa.
Hiyo ndio ileta shida.
The history of this thing goes back to colonial times. And the problem was to do with restrictions. But from what I've heard, the county government seems to have understood what the problem is, and they clearly have set in motion ways of solving the problem. However, kuna hivi makubaliano yanatokea kukiwa na mjadala kati ya wale ambao wanajihusisha na mambo hayo. Now that comes a question of the frequency with which you have a conversation. Sasa hiyo ndio tunataka public participation. Tunamaliza February. January mpaka February tumekuwa na public participation ngapi?
You know, public participation is engaging with each other, different stakeholders.
Yes.
And I can tell you that every week I meet the hawkers through their leadership. I meet Gashanja, I meet Mawaya, napatana na youth wao, na hawkers wenyewe. We can even do the public participation on the backlines, and this is what we have been doing. If I show you our clips, you will see, even as late as yesterday, tulikuwa uko backstreet, just engaging and talking to each other. One thing I can appreciate is that I don't think we have a standoff. Pale kwa Nairobi Hawker standoff. It should be Nairobi Hawker, Nairobi County and Hawkers partnerships. I don't think we have a standoff, because for the first time we are seeing us talk to each other. We are not fighting. They come, we talk, we go to them, and that is a continuous partnership, at least to make sure that there is order, and we support them to do their businesses in very decent working spaces.
But Jane, are you there yet? And also John, tumefika kweli, because the truth of the matter, I do believe that there needs to be order in the city, the capital city of the country, any city for that matter. But this is the capital of the city, where if you want to of the country and the county, everything in the center, right? So you have people coming into this city from around the world, around the country every day. The truth of the matter, as tender as it's going to sound, John, is that with hawkers in the city, we have garbage, it's dumped there. People leave their shades and shelters there overnight. People sleep in those shelters overnight. You walk into the city in the morning, 6 a.m., 7 a.m., it's jam-packed. I read the traffic here every morning, and there is no morning that area around Wakulima doesn't have traffic. Why? Because half the road is taken up by people who are sitting on the side of the road, who've bought from inside the market and are sitting. So I will understand where the county is coming from, where there needs to be the maintenance of order. So kwa nini haiwezi kuwa watu hawezi chukua vitu zao waende wauze mahali ingine? But I also blame those who come to buy from them at that place where they are. Because how do we maintain that order kama tuko katikati ya mjini?
Ya kwamba kwa saa hii ndio tumeweka mikakati ya kwenda kwa backstreet. Watu wetu walikuwa kwa main road, waende kwa backstreet. Na hiyo swali umeuliza watu wa kuweka kwa barabara
na takataka na vitu na watu walali ndani ya shelter, surely. John, hata wewe unajua ni ukweli, si ndio? Yeah.
Saa hii tumejaribu kucontrol watu wetu kulingana na kuwasomesha kulingana na saa hii vile dunia inaendelea na economy inaendelea na future inaendelea. Juu ya kwamba kitambo huka alikuwa ni mtu ajielewi, ni ule huka hata ukikuja umuongesha na kutusi mnaweza pigana, hata walikuwa pigana na askari. Lakini saa hii tumewalimisha kidogo, tumeongelesha, tumeweza kuwafundisha kuishi na watu vizuri. Na saa hii hata ukiangalia huka wenye wako saa hii sile huka wa kitambo. Ni huka nasikiza, hata kiambio toa hiki kitu weka pale anaenda. Sasa kwa saa hii tulikuwa na chifu Msidia, tumezunguka na yeye kwa ground, tukiwafundisha kuchukua hizo takataka wasiache kwa barabara, wawe wasafi na waweze kufungua barabara. Kwa hivyo saa hii nasema saa hii tume upgrade si kama kitambo.
Alafu umejua nasikiza pia vile unaongea, kwa sababu wewe unajua tunapenda kuja huko. Na kuzini kutembea inakuwa ngumu sana katikati ya Nairobi, kwa sababu kuna hoka hapa, kuna hoka huko. Kwa hivyo kama mnaweza songa mkuje huko Backstreet itakuwa mzuri. Lakini nataka kujua hali yenu kule Backstreet, kwa sababu umesema unatembea ukiongelesha wengine na waonyesha uzuri wa kurudi kule nyuma. Lakini security ya huko nyuma mahali mtakuwa imefika vipi? Mko convinced ya kuwa ama county imekubaliana na nyinyi ya kwamba biashara zenu zitakuwa safe, kwa sababu hiyo ndio chakula pesa inaleta chakula mezani. Sasa safety ya hapo imefikia wapi? Ama nataka kujua hali ya safety ya goods zenu, business zenu na wale hawkers uko behind the stage.
Kwa saa hii tuseme kama kuna barabara backstage zimeanza kuweka lami, zimetengenezwa kama Mfangano Street, Taveta, Tiboroa saa hii ndio imeanza.
Okay.
Moi Lane hizo wameweka lami. Unajua ili kama mtu afanya kitu mzuri tunasema amefanya mzuri, hajafanya tunasema hajafanya. Kwa hiyo wamefanya saa hii, wameweka lami na watu wetu wamefurahia juu. Sasa wakiingia huko kutakuwa safe. Hata wale customer kuingia watakubali kuingia. Juu kitambo hata customer angeingia juu hiyo maji angekubali kuingia.
Na pia unaogopa kupigwa ngeta mahali kwa kona.
Sasa ile kitu saa hii wakishamaliza kuweka hizo lami, watu wanatuondolea magari. Jana ndio tulikuwa na chief wa Goi na waziri na wakaondoa private car kwa backseat 3.
Okay.
Hizo sasa ndio tuweza kupanga watu wetu. But today asubuhi walikuwa kuja waondoe zingine backseat 3, ile Ludhuri Lane, Sikikarume Lane ndio watu wetu waingie.
Okay.
Hata nimechelewa juu asubuhi kulikuwa na mgogoro saa hii wa hawkers na watu wa maduka wenye wanaweka hizo private car this morning. Hata walikuwa wamechukua zile mamiti jebe au watu wa maduka wakiambia huko wataingia hapo. Ndio sababu nimechelewa. Hiyo mgogoro ndio sababu nijaribu kuongesha huko wetu wasipigane na watu wa maduka. Tugojelea askari wakuje wafanye kazi yao.
Okay.
Juu askari ndio walifaa kuja asubuhi wadoe hizo private car, watu wetu nao waingie wafanye biashara yao.
Okay. So, I mean, Jane, I think the one word that we always want to use when we look at something like this is sustainable. So what has been done whereby the back streets have been opened up, and I don't even want to call them back streets because it's like we are now, brandish or rather banishing hawkers who are making a living every day to some, back corner where nobody can find them in the dark, However, if we're moving them to alternate locations for them to continue their trade, is it in a sustained manner that the garbage will always be cleaned up, that security will always be maintained, that the streets will always be lit for those who want to sell at night? Because we also remember that there are those who are coming to purchase. So is this action sustained? And it's not just a one-time, okay, let's do it for now, and then in another few months we'll be back to people creeping back in.
Yeah. Actually, those backlanes are not some way of pushing them to the corner. These backlanes are usable. They are lanes that are at the back of main streets.
Okay.
So yesterday I was so amazed that when I went to Mfangano Street, I could see from one end, and it's very long, to the other lane. And that is where there is high population. So these are not some corners that we are putting. These are actually some lanes that actually are very high populated and people can walk through. In the sustainability way, I have already told you, we are doing our modern markets. We cannot sustain them at the back lanes. Let them, here at the back lanes is just to give them some small portions, a slot, like 1.8 by 2, for them to put their wares.
Interim?
No, they will stay there.
So they'll be permanent. So who will go to the markets?
We can't tell them that it's going to be permanent. We are just saying this is a temporary measure.
Okay.
But take advantage of our modern markets. Our modern markets are amazing. We are solarizing our markets.
This is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So they will eventually go to the markets.
Yeah, let them take advantage of the markets that we are building. Because again, if you take too long, you'll find other traders that have already taken. Like high population, high percentages of our traders are in the high population of our citizenry is in trade, as Nairobi.
And they're
in the informal settlements. So take advantage of these modern markets. Like now, we are doing a modern market in Toi. After the fires, we are going to have a modern market there. Tuko na modern market Mutwini, Dagoreti. Let them go back. Tuko na South B, tunajenga. Let them go back. So you cannot take too long at the back street. Yes, as a county, we are giving you a permanent, modernized way of doing business. And in these modern markets, we are taking care of our PWDs.
Yes.
We are going to have cold rooms where in our food markets, at least for the food loss, we are also going to have halls where they can have their meetings.
Yeah.
We are having amenities, even lactating rooms for mothers, where now these traders, wamama wanakuja, you don't have to feel like utanyonyesha pali client yuko. You can go back to the lactating room. Yeah, hygiene. They are amazing. I would want to invite all of us at some point when you're easy. You come, I take you to some of these.
So John, soko zinajengwa. Soko zinajengwa mjini, si ndio? Sasa mungependa kuingia huko zikimalizwa?
Kitu kwanza niambia chief, hivyo anaelezea soko wanajenga. Akumbuka ya kwamba tulikuwa hawkers, CBD ilikuwa na hawkers 10,000 zaidi kabla kuja kufukuzwa. Saa hii tuko na 3,000. 2,500 ndio hawker wale
wako town.
500 ni wale PWD na DEF. Kwa hivyo tunakuja 3,000. Au kwa wengine 7,000 ajiulize wameenda wapi?
Walienda wapi?
Tumewarudisha huko. Anajenga hizo masoko. Tumeelezea wewe rudi kwenye hiyo huko naishi. Kama ni Kangemi, rudi Kangemi. Kama unaishi Rodhero, rudi Rodhero, enda Rodhero. Huko kuna jengo soko, mchukue hizo soko huko. Mkae huko tupunguze Nairobi, tuache kuwa wengi sana.
So 3,000 soko zikimalizwa mtaingia kwa soko?
3,000 ni wale hawkers. Sasa wa original wa town. Unapata wengine wanaishi hapa Mudhurwa. Hizo nyumba za Mudhurwa. Sasa watu utamwambia enda wapi? Na ako CBD already.
We have a market. We have a market pale Mawaya. We have a market in Mwariro. Kwa nini amwendi Mariro?
Mwariro ni vizuri kunikumbusha Mwariro. Mwariro wakati ilijengwa hawkers. Yeah. Wakati tuliendanga hapo tulipigana 1 week. Unakumbuka? Na nani? Na wale watu walikuja wa Saudi B. Na wale watu walikuja wa Ziwani. Wakasema soko ndiko kwao. Haiko kwetu. Alafu tulikuwa na mheshimiwa Jagwa. Hata unaweza kukumbuka Jagwa akipigwa alishikwa juu ya hiyo soko. Tukipigana hiyo soko. Tulipigana wiki mzima. Ikasimamishwa. Tukaambiwa tutaenda kwa ballot. Mzuri. Huka wetu na wale watu. Yes. Tukaambiwa tutaenda kwa ballot. Tupeleka ukaitu kwa ballot. Wakati tunapeleka kwa ballot, kusema ukweli hizo ballot zilikuwa zimechezwa chini ya maji. Wale huka walipata zaidi uenda kwa hiyo Mwariro market, uliza ule huka original umepata, unielezee ni wangapi. Hakuna. Tulichezwa.
Sasa hiyo ilifika wapi?
Hiyo sasa ndio huka bado wakarudi kwa street.
Alright. So vile unasema saa hii hakuna soko ambapo mnaweza ingia hii kazi ikimalizwa. Hakuna soko saa hii mnaweza ingia msema muende huko muanze kuuza vitu zenu. Saa hii hakuna.
Saa hii hakuna.
Madam J.
Anaweza tuelezea chief.
Maybe you can tell us where it is. I'm still fighting for this thing of order within the city. But if they're saying they're willing to go to a market and they're not able to identify right now where such a market exists or past, where it is being built, in the past when they wanted to go to one, they were fought out. Where are these places?
And also there's a market you referred to. You expected about 1,000 plus. You're seeing an influx of 5,000. I'm looking at the numbers there. You see, one of the things that is bringing us to the market conversation is the congestion. Yeah. These people need the same dignity in their businesses, yes, etc. Yeah. So give us the markets and also tell us how conducive it is for them. They're saying they can't go back to that one. So how better is the one you're referring to?
That's what I'm saying is I'm happy that Mawaya has said before wale hawkers walikuwa almost like goons. Si umesema hivyo saizi si wale wa zamani wale wa kupigana. Mulikuwa sasa wale
amekataa.
Lakini ulikuwa umesema before mulikuwa wale hawkers wanataka maneno. But now saizi the type of hawkers we are dealing with are educated hawkers, the hawkers that actually want to earn a very good livelihood, sindio? In a decent way. So what I can say is vile tunafanya is one, we have to tell them the attitude change that you cannot be a hawker all your life. You have to grow. And that's why these modern markets are there.
Okay.
Look at Mwariro. I accept maybe the way the balloting before was being done was somehow questionable. Because you find that some people who would ballot for these markets who are civil servants, are politicians. Yeah, and that's what we are having a problem in Kangundo Road. We have a very big modern market in Kangundo Road. Yeah, and that is where every time we want to activate that market, unapata some politicians wanaeka ile ugomvi kwa sababu wanajua somebody has maybe 5-10 stalls yet hata hawatumi.
Okay.
Now our criteria is very very straight, that we are dealing with the real hawker, the real trader.
Okay.
They are going to be the beneficiaries of this modern market.
So I wanted to actually ask you a little bit more about Kangunda Road,
yes,
because that has come up. And so Kangunda Road, what's the status of that particular area? And when we are saying move them to these stalls, are they paying for them?
Yeah.
Okay.
They pay the county, but very minimal.
What is that fee that we're looking at?
You would even look at maybe 1,000 to 5,000
per month.
Per month.
Okay.
And you have a very decent stall.
Okay.
So the problem of Kangunda Road is that the balloting was not done right. And so many of the people who got the ballots were not real traders. And that is why we have been in the process of taking data of our real traders, real mamamboga, real trader who actually is doing business, so that when we put you in our markets, then we are sure that those markets will be vibrant and actually will be able to even take traffic to this market. So that has been a problem, but Kama County, we are now taking data, and that's why we have taken data for the hawkers. Now we have 2,500. We know how many backlanes we will settle them in, and the other ones, we will keep on engaging them and really trying to take them to this new market.
Is Nairobi still 24-hour economy?
Yeah, like some of our markets, mostly are 24.
Why I ask is because if you're talking about hawkers and back streets, what are the plans to make them part of that 24-hour economy? Because I hear you're going to make...
Lighting those back streets.
Lighting is one. The other things we need to do. What about toilet facilities?
Yeah, that's what I said. We are working with the works department to make sure that we have the toilets. We have they can access clean toilets. We have drainages. We have hand wash machines. We have a plan, and it's very clear with our governor. He has clarity of vision, and us who work under him, we follow that vision.
Plan. When do we expect this plan to be implemented, and when do we expect it to be completed?
It is an ongoing plan. Like now, he has alluded and confirmed what I was saying before, that we have rehabilitated like 3-4 backlanes. So this is continuous. Even today, utaenda upate engineer Tirop na timu yake on the back street.
Okay.
Yesterday, we even did a public participation on one of our special markets that we are coming up with, Mira Market. Yeah, yesterday we are giving Isili and Karioko traders for Mira a market.
A market,
yeah,
yes.
A wholesale market.
Okay, so John, Madam C yako hapa. Chief Officer ako hapa. Na nyinyi mlikuwa na shida, tunaweza jaza vitabu mingi sana na hizo mashida. Ako hapa akisema hizi vitu ambazo zitatendeka. Ungependa kumwambia nini ama kumuuliza nini saa hii ukimwona tu?
Ile kitu nitamwambia kusema kweli, sasa ameanza kazi. Na tuliona na jana. Hata jana ndio uliona, hata yeye aongee ukweli. Jana ndio uliona hukasi wetu akicheka. Kitambo hakuwa anacheka. Ulikuwa ukiongelesha wanakuangalia tu hivi juu, unawaambia wataingia backseat, magari zitaondolewa, zitatengenezwa, lakini wako wanaamini hiyo kitu. Lakini zaidi wanaona kweli jana tumeanza backseat 3 na wameingia. Nitamwambia hivi, hizo zingine zimebaki. Harakishe.
Okay.
Juu watu wetu bado wanasafa. Tuendelee kuwa rotate kwa hizo backseat. Juu kwa saa hii tumepanga watu 300 jana. Leo tulikuwa tupange wengine 300. Iende haraka ndio tumalize hii kitu, watu wetu waseto waendelee na biashara zao, wapeleke unga nyumbani.
Lakini John, ukweli ya mambo, sisi mwenye tunanunua hizi vitu, pali ikiwa safi na mnauza vitu mzuri, hakuna mali tutakuja. Bora kila pali iko safi. Sasa nyinyi mko na kazi ya kufanya.
Alafu pia
amuoni hivyo?
Tuko nayo kazi ya kufanya. Serikali kutengenezea, sisi tuko na kazi yetu bado kuweka hiyo kitu ikuwa safe, ikuwa safi. Na kuweka security, hata wetu security wenyewe juu ya ile watu wanakuja wanaingia katikati yetu wanaharibia wetu. Kwa hivyo lazima tu make sure hata sisi tukitengenezewa hiyo backseat iko safi na security iko sawa. Ndio hata ukiingia kwa customer unasikia uko safe side.
Ndio nilikuwa nataka kusema, lakini nasikia wewe na mimi tunafikiria line moja, kwa sababu wale wanaingia katikati hiyo kufanya customer anaogopa ukuja mahali mko wengi, ndio hapo mtasafisha kabisa, na tutashukuru ya kwamba tunaendelea mbele. Hiyo ndio nilikuwa nataka kusema.
Well, I mean, look, it's a continuing conversation, and we're glad that you both came this morning to share insights on that. I guess for the working of the county, it's important that livelihoods are secured, but it's also important that orderliness is maintained and sustained in the city. Thank you both for being here. Jane Wangui is the County Chief Officer, Markets and Trade, and John Njuguna Wamawaya is the Chair of the Nairobi Hawkers Association, been our guest this hour, looking into how you can make, Nairobi more orderly. And that is it.
Yeah.
Lazima iwork is what we are being told. Hata kwa nyinyi lazima iwork. That's just the
They
truth.
have a responsibility.
Absolutely. So thank you both for being here this morning and sharing that conversation with us.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.